how Quran burnings ignited an embassy attacks in Iraq. In the wake of a Quran burning incident in Sweden and Denmark, tensions soared to unprecedented heights in Iraq, sparking violent protests that led to the destruction of the Swedish embassy and an attempted breach of the Danish diplomatic mission in Baghdad. The desecrations ignited a diplomatic storm between the Nordic countries and several Muslim nations, as evidenced by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or OIC, suspending Sweden's special envoy on July 23rd, criticizing, quote, the granting by the Swedish authority of licenses that enable the repeated abuse of the sanctity of the Holy Quran and Islamic symbols. The fallout extended into the economic realm as Iraq terminated work permits for Swedish telecom giant Ericsson's local employees. The trigger for these tumultuous events was a protest led by Salwan Momika, an Iraqi Christian refugee residing in Sweden. His deliberate desecration of the Quran sparked widespread outrage among Muslim nations, inciting fervent protests in Iraq. These culminated in hundreds of protesters, predominantly followers of the Iraqi Shia politician and cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, storming the Swedish embassy in Baghdad, scaling its compound walls, and setting the embassy on fire. These events underscore the volatile interplay between religious sensitivity and freedom of speech, with destructive repercussions felt both diplomatically and economically.
Okay.
There's so
How
much to unpack here.
I have a question. How
Mhm.
many countries came to condemn this? How many heads of states? Has the Nations come out and issued a statement about condemning these actions, attacking embassies?
Yeah. I mean, there are.
Mm.
The United States came out strongly, being like, "What the hell are you?" I mean, they were trying to breach the green zone.
But no, no, what I'm saying is, are they? No, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I don't think there's a global push to come out and say that we don't allow this. This is not a bad. This is a bad thing. That we condemn these type of activities. Obviously, this is a crime, and people just generally passing by will say like this is bad. You know what I mean? But there's no major condemnation. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, for example, when they burn Swedish flags, right? There's
Mhm.
no people like, oh, there's no global condemnation about trying to demonize it or trying to tell these people that they shouldn't be burning the Swedish flag or attacking the Swedish embassy. I mean, obviously, anybody, if you ask them if they condemn this, they will say they will condemn it. But there's not as much of a drive against it as there is when they just burn the Quran. Do you know what I'm saying? I just think in comparison, there's more outrage over the Quran burning than the attack on the embassy. The outrage is like not even comparable, in
Well,
my
yeah,
opinion.
because the outrage is like felt by the people and expressed by the people, right? Versus when there's an embassy attack, like it's just a government spokesperson coming out and making a statement, right? Like the scale of the reaction is totally different. But I mean, there has been like very strong statements that were made, but obviously that just doesn't feel the same as
Yeah.
the backlash and
It-
vitriol of the people.
I mean, not just the people. I just think like the politicians in Western countries, for example, and the United Nations is also not as they prefer to come out and strongly condemn the burning of the Quran versus you don't see the same type of condemnation when it comes to burning the Swedish flag by these people, which I think they should be allowed to burn the Swedish flag, but
Yeah.
also not even as strong of a condemnation when it comes to attacking an embassy. I just feel like we are bending the knee to how butthurt people get, like rather to how harmful an action is. Like an attack on embassy gets less
Oh,
of a
of
reaction
course.
than burning of a Quran because people are more sensitive about burning a Quran, and the politicians are just surrendering to. So basically, you're signaling to people the more butthurt you are, the more sensitive you are, the more we will listen to you. So this is this is horrible. This is like a moral hazard. People are learning that they need to become sensitive. We're rewarding people being sensitive. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm. I
Yeah.
totally do. I think we should, if you scroll down, let's watch this little video that shows what the actual storming of the Swedish embassy. No, no, go up right there when they
This
set
one.
the Swedish embassy on fire. This is wild.
Okay. I don't know if we have audio. Do you have
Yeah,
audio?
I have. Yeah, it's a pretty short video. Look at this.
Should I do full screen?
Sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What?
Yes. Isn't this crazy? Look at this.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم اشهد ان اعداء الله يا اعدائي اللهم اشهد ان اعداء الامام المهدي اعدائي عزيز حجي عندنا احنا نعرف شويه حجي ماكو انا ما امشي بامر احد انا مسلم احرق القران جيت احرق سفارتي
They're mentioning the Quran.
Mhm.
عادي شوي خليه يتعطب خليه يرتاح يشوف غليلنا
So
Wait, so
after this happened, wait, you go first. What?
was this within the green zone?
I don't know if the
You
Swedish
said
embassy is within the green zone. I do know that after the Quran burning that happened in Denmark, that's when they tried to get into the green zone.
Okay.
Is because that's
All
where
right.
the
What were you gonna say?
Danish diplomatic mission is. But because of this, Sweden had to relocate their embassy, and Iraq has officially expelled the Swedish ambassador and expelled the embassy over this whole issue. They're basically cutting off diplomatic ties with Sweden because of this.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. In Denmark, the people that did the Quran burning there, they were also burning Iraqi flags, which I don't really like because that's like makes it so much obviously like against people. Um,
Mm.
but so like given what's happening with Sweden and then what's happening in Denmark, and then we're seeing at the moment we're seeing the boldest reaction in Iraq. Like, what do you think about all this?
I think there needs to be more countries that stand up with Sweden. Right now, they're leaving. A lot of countries are leaving Sweden behind,
Mhm.
and I think, and it's such a shame. Like Sweden seems to have one of the countries in country like a lot of countries in Europe don't have a backbone when it comes to defending freedom of speech. Like
It's
people in
crazy.
the UK, people in the UK can are in jail for tweets, which is
Mhm.
unbelievable. This coming from a country that was one of the main two countries that is the reason why we have enlightenment values right now spreading around the
Embarrassing,
world, and
honestly.
it's embarrassing. Yeah, but Sweden, I know the United States has the best constitution when it comes to fighting for free speech, but Sweden seems to be high up there. I mean, it's not as good as the US, but when comparing to many other European countries, Sweden's constitution seems to be respecting free speech more than other countries. And now they're being challenged, and now they might like this level of the fact that Sweden is being demonized in such a way. I don't know if this is going to be possible for them to take another look at their constitution and change that. I hope not, but there needs to be more of a pushback in other European countries so that Sweden is not bearing all of this weight of this responsibility of fighting for free speech in Europe. I hope there are more people in Europe that try to do the same thing, like burn the. I hope more people in Europe decide to burn the Quran just so that their governments have to come up and take a position as well, so that all these Islamic countries are making Sweden pay the price. But if there was more European countries, then it would be much difficult for these Islamic countries to cut their ties with all of these European countries. Like they it would be a more they would be shooting themselves in the foot. Even right now with Sweden, who you think is being harmed more? Like if Iraq cuts ties with Sweden, do you think that harms Sweden more or harms
I
Iraq
know, I
more?
was
Like,
thinking
come
the
on.
same thing, honestly.
Like you think you're a significant country for you to be able to like hurt Sweden by not cutting ties with them? Like it's
Over this?
embarrassing. Yeah, you're a pathetic. You're a backwards country with like Like, you have so much oil and your economy is in the toilets. Like, how did you manage that? Like, you have nothing. You have power cuts. You have no stability. You have infighting. You have civil war. Your entire government is being controlled by Iran. You have nothing. You have so much problems, and now you want to cut ties with a major European country. Like, that's where your priorities are. Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You
It's
you're hurting. You're harming the well-being of your own people over a few pages. Like, the priority is completely. Yeah. Anyways, you
It's
go on.
really interesting. I was reading that there's been some reports that have come out that have said that there are people reporting that Russia is actually using disinformation to promote misinformation about the Quran burnings so that it will help destroy Sweden's chance of getting NATO membership.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. And
Yeah,
also
but Sweden is gonna
the
get Sweden is gonna get NATO membership, by the way. So that's done.
yeah, and the OIC, yeah, kicked out the special envoy from Sweden. It's just like, oh my God, there was one quote. I wish I could find it. I have like 6 different articles I prepared for this news, so I don't know if I can find it. But basically, it was like the OIC is trying to implement like blasphemy laws from overseas and other countries, and I just hate it. I like it won't. It's ridiculous.
This person is commenting, Sweden should expel all Qurans to prevent it from happening again.
Yeah, D said the same thing. Basically, like, you know what would fix this problem if we banned the Quran?
Right.
How would you guys feel
Um,
about that then? Huh? How would you feel about it then?
oh, here's a good comment that you highlighted.
Yes, my
That's
wife's boyfriend is saying failure to stand up for free speech only empowers the far right. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Which is why
Also, we got it.
we do the
Yeah, go on.
desecration of the Quran here.
Exactly. Exactly. By the way, Susanna, I think we got a super chat that is specifically for you. It's the type of super chat that that you enjoy the most. You're given that.
Adam Richter, thank you for the super chat. And it's just an emoji with the mouth zippered shut. I'm dead. Oh my God.
But guys, seriously, keep the super chats coming. It's the difference between Atheist Republic going to red and not. So we do appreciate them.
Mhm.
Whatever Susanna says, even if Susanna doesn't appreciate it, I will appreciate it.
No, I definitely appreciate it. I think I'm just like, because for the past several weeks, we've had you doing a show right after our show. So I was like, in the back of my mind, I was constantly thinking about the time. And
Yeah,
now
but I don't
we're
have
not
a
doing
show
that
after.
today. So
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about it.